Your fantasy team looks sick on paper right now, doesn't it? But a championship roster can turn to dust in a heartbeat. I'm talking about stud players, guys you love having on your team who are sitting on a statistical time bomb. Their age, their team situation, and the numbers nobody is talking about are all screaming regression. Today, we're exposing the top 5 players who are about to fall off a cliff. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how to trade them before it's too late, while you can still get a king's ransom for them. Don't be the manager left holding the bag. Let's get into it. The first player you need to trade, like right now, is Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know. This dude's been automatic. A top fantasy wideout who feels like the safest player you have. And that's exactly the problem. His value has never been higher, and the warning signs are starting to flash. Let's talk facts. In 2024, he was still great, catching 115 passes for over 1,200 yards. But what propped up his fantasy value was a career-high 12 touchdowns. Touchdowns are famous for being wildly inconsistent. Betting on a guy to repeat a career year in scores is how you lose championships. The whole situation in Detroit is changing too. Offensive genius Ben Johnson is now the head coach for the rival Bears. We don't know for sure how new OC John Morton's system will look, which adds risk. And here's the bigger issue. Jamison Williams is no longer just a potential threat. He had his 1,000-yard breakout season in 2024. Williams isn't just a deep threat anymore. He's a complete receiver who will demand more targets. So why trade him now? Because his name is gold. Everyone sees him as a locked-in, top-tier WR1. But the underlying situation suggests he might be closer to a high-end WR2 this year. You can still get a true top 5 receiver, plus another solid player in return. Flip him for a rising star and a draft pick before the touchdown numbers come back down to earth. Coming in at number 4 is a guy who used to be the RB1, Jonathan Taylor. His 2024 finish looks pretty good on paper, right? He finished with over 1,400 rushing yards. But here's what's scary. A huge chunk of that production was packed into the last 5 games of the season, where he averaged over 144 yards per game. If you owned him, there's a good chance his quiet start to the year cost you a spot in the playoffs. Now let's talk about the reality of the running back position. The age cliff is brutal, and it comes fast. Taylor has a documented history of injuries, especially with his ankles, and has missed games in each of the last 3 seasons. The Colts gave him the money, sure, but that doesn't make him bulletproof. They also brought in Khalil Herbert and drafted DJ Giddens, which tells you they want to manage his workload. With his limited role in the passing game already capping his upside, any dip in carries is a huge red flag. You are selling the memory of his dominant 2021 season. People remember him leading the league, and that memory plus his insane finish to 2024 is keeping his trade value sky high. This is the perfect time to sell. Go get a younger running back with less wear and tear or a top-tier wide receiver. Don't let a hot 5-week stretch ignore the risk you're taking on. All right, we're halfway through the list of ticking time bombs. If this is helping you get your team right, do me a solid and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's free, and it guarantees you won't miss out on more advice that'll keep you ahead of your league. Now let's get to a guy who's been an automatic elite player for years, but the warning signs are flashing bright red. The number 3 player whose value is about to take a nosedive is Baltimore Ravens tight end Mark Andrews. For years, Andrews has been a set-it-and-forget-it top 5 tight end. But the 2024 season showed a massive crack in the foundation. Let's start with the scariest part, his usage. While he led all tight ends with an incredible 11 touchdowns, his target volume fell off a cliff. He only saw 69 targets all season, which ranked around 20th at the position. You simply cannot survive on that few targets and expect to repeat as a top tight end. That touchdown number is screaming for regression. And the problem is getting worse. The Ravens remain a run-heavy team, and this offseason they added veteran wideout DeAndre Hopkins. But the biggest issue is already on his own team, Isaiah Likely. Last season, Likely proved he's a legit receiving weapon, racking up 42 catches and 6 touchdowns himself. He is going to continue to command targets, putting a hard ceiling on Andrews' volume. For a guy turning 30 in a contract year, the risk is skyrocketing. Here's the move. Trade him now while people still see Mark Andrews and think elite TE1. The tight end position is a disaster for most teams, so someone in your league is desperate. Exploit that desperation. You can get a younger, ascending tight end plus another great piece for a player whose best days are almost certainly behind him. The next player you have to trade immediately is Miami's Chain. The guy is an electric factory on the field. His talent is off the charts. His value is through the roof, built on those explosive week-winning performances. And that is exactly why you sell. His entire profile screams high-risk asset. First, the obvious, his size. At just 188 pounds, durability is always going to be a massive question mark. He's already had significant injuries, and banking on a player that's small to handle a huge workload is playing with fire. And the efficiency regression isn't just possible, it's guaranteed. After an insane rookie year, his yards per carry came back to earth in 2024, dropping to 4.5. That's still solid, but it's not the fantasy cheat code it was before. His value is tied to breakaway touchdowns, which makes his weekly floor incredibly unstable. We saw this in the last 5 games of the 2024 regular season, where he was a frustratingly average fantasy back. You are trading away massive risk for a stable, reliable star. Someone in your league is drooling over the highlights in those 50-point explosions. Let them pay for it. You can get a legit workhorse, running back, or a top 10 wide receiver for a cane right now. Cash in on the hype before the inevitable injury or regression brings his value crashing down. The final player on our sell high list is Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver Chris Godwin. For years, Godwin was Mr. Reliable in fantasy, a PPR machine. But now at age 29 and coming off a major injury, the situation is a minefield of red flags. The biggest issue is the devastating ankle dislocation that ended his 2024 season in Week 7. Before that injury, he was on pace for a career year, but this was a gruesome one that required multiple surgeries. The team has confirmed he won't be ready for the start of the season, and reports suggest he might not play until October. That means you're getting a guaranteed 0 in your lineup for at least the first month, and when he does come back, he's returning to a different offense. The Buccaneers spent a first-round pick on slot receiver Emeka Egbuka. The team loves him, and he's expected to play a key role immediately, especially with Godwin's sideline. Godwin has always done his best work from the slot, and now he has serious, fresh-leg competition for those targets, plus Mike Evans on the outside. His name value is the only thing holding up his trade market. People remember the Super Bowl champ and the PPR stud, but you'd be holding a 29-year-old receiver coming off a major injury with new target competition who is going to miss a huge chunk of the season. Package him up and sell him to a team that thinks they're getting a discount. Go get a player who can actually help you win games in September. So there you have it. 5 guys you probably love having on your team, but whose stock is about to crash. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Mark Andrews, Chain, and Chris Godwin. The key to a fantasy championship isn't just about drafting well, it's about making the tough trades and staying ahead of the curve. Don't be the one left with declining assets. Now it's your turn. Who is the one player you are desperately trying to trade away before it's too late? Drop his name in the comments below and let's talk about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.